today let's commence a discussion about AP history for the ensuing Group 2 mains examination. So in the previous class, which we had day before yesterday, we have had a detailed discussion about the syllabus. All the 5 units have been discussed in detail in the previous class. Yes. Coming to the first topic in our syllabus. So we have 5 units altogether. Unit 1. The first topic in this Unit 1, prehistoric. Yeah, this prehistoric age. So it has been divided into various stages, in fact. The previous class we have discussed what is the reason for dividing the history into historic age and the prehistoric age. It's about the sources, nature of the sources. So without the sources, we will not able to study about the past. So to study the past of any country or any region, we need to depend on the sources. Here sources are of two types, in fact. One kind of sources are archaeological sources. And second category of sources, literary sources. So for the purpose of studying the history, scholars, historians used to depend on these two kind of sources. Archaeological sources are the sources which have been left by the people. It's like the material remains that were used by them, material remains, and artifacts. So which will not be in the form of writing. Whereas literary sources, they are in the form of what you call the scriptural sources. They are the scriptural sources. It will be in the form of writing. So this is a broad division of the sources. Again, as far as archaeological sources are concerned, we have different types. So we will discuss that later, not here. Literary sources also can be classified into various categories. So there are further classification of these sources further. Coming to this prehistorical age, this division has been made by the scholars on the basis of script. Just for imagine, as far as Indian history is concerned, we have a particular civilization which has been considered as the foremost civilization of the country, Indus Valley civilization. So it was the earliest civilization in the history of India. But our knowledge about this civilization was completely dependent on archaeological sources. Though they have a script of their own, they have a typical script which was used by them throughout their civilization, but this script was of no use because of undecipherment. Scholars failed to decipher the script. Definitely they would have communicated something about their civilization with the help of this script. But since the script was undeciphered, so our knowledge about this Indus Valley civilization need to be based on their artifacts, the material remains left over by them. As far as the Rigvedic civilization are concerned, so it is the second best civilization of the country. Our knowledge is completely, apart from archaeological sources will be there anyway. Apart from archaeological sources. So we used to get our information from their literary sources. They have produced enough quantity of literature by name the Vedic literature. So that was the basic source for us. So this is a broad division that has been made by the historians or archaeologists here. What about this prehistory? Prehistory has been divided into various stages again by the scholars, because we need to depend on the material remains that have been used by the people here. On the basis of the material remains that have been used by the people here in this particular age, there were further classification of the prehistorical age. Stone is the dominant material that has been used by the people who lived in this era. But again, coming to the stone, the shapes and sizes of the material, tools, implement that have been used by them going to be varied from one period to another period. So they did not remain same throughout the age. So what is the total period of this prehistorical age? In fact, prehistorical age, roughly speaking, it commences with the origin of the human on the earth. Origin of human on the earth. Right from the origin of the human on the earth up to the invention of script. Up to the invention of script. So this is the rough period. Early human, in the history of the human being, early human said to have been made his the first appearance somewhere around 2.5 million years ago. 2.5 million years ago. So 2.5 million is a year in which the early human said to have made his appearance. So it was somewhere in Eastern Africa, as per the studies made by the scholars. So from 2.5 million years, so from this period up to the invention of script. As far as Indian history is concerned, the script has been invented around the 3rd millennium BC, 3000 BC, roughly speaking, 3000 BC. So in that period, we have got our first script. So it's a lengthy period, in fact. Prehistoric period is a lengthy period, but unfortunately, we do not know much about the history of the human being who lived in the prehistoric age. Due to the lack of literary sources, we need to depend on the archaeological sources. So by studying the archaeological sources, we need to try to understand about the lifestyle of the human being in the prehistorical age. So it's the general division of history into two major parts. So let's see about this prehistorical age. So prehistorical age has been divided into various parts. So before understanding these various stages of prehistorical age, we need to understand some factual information about this particular term prehistory. This term has been used for the first time by an European scholar, so who was considered as the first user of the term prehistory. So his name is Daniel Wilson. Daniel Wilson. So this kind of factual prehistoric age is the most toughest part of our entire discussion. Either you take Indian history or you take the state history. It's the toughest part. The rest of the history seems to be very easy to understand. Prehistorical is a typical topic. So we can get some 1 or 2 questions from this particular area. So we have to focus some important areas like the settlements and the tools that have been used by them, and the excavators related to these sites where the excavations have been carried by them. So these are the areas where we need to focus here. So the term has been used by Daniel Wilson, first archaeologist to use the word prehistory. He has authored a book. The book runs with the very title of prehistory. The archaeology, the name of the book. The archaeology and prehistoric Annals of Scotland. The Archaeology and Prehistoric Annals of Scotland. That was the book where he has made use of the term for the first time. So question can be expected on him. So which one of the following archaeologists was the first to use the word prehistory? But the word has been popularized by Sir John Lubbock. The word was popularized by Sir John Lubbock. So he has popularized the word, Sir John Lubbock. But as far as Andhra history is concerned, the prehistoric excavations were initially started by a great individual who has been considered as the father of prehistory in South India. He was considered as a pioneer of prehistoric excavations in South India as well as in Andhra. Robert Brucefoot. Robert Brucefoot, pioneer of the prehistoric excavations in South India. So all the excavations that we have as far as Andhra is concerned in the prehistoric age need to be credited to the account of this individual, Robert Brucefoot. Okay. So he has started these excavations and slowly he has toured the entire South India including Andhra. Many places have been excavated by him and many artifacts that have been used by the people in the prehistoric age have also been unearthed by him. So we have to discuss this prehistorical age. Prehistorical age has actually been divided into three parts, three stages. So broadly, we can find three stages here. Whereas in Indian history, you have 5 stages here. The lower, Paleolithic age, Mesolithic age, Neolithic age, then Chalcolithic or Bronze age, then we have Iron age. This is how we have 5 stages in the prehistorical age. But as far as Andhra is concerned, you can find 4 stages here. The first and foremost here, Paleolithic. Paleolithic age. It was the first stage in the Stone Ages. Stone is the material which has been used by the humans in this entire period, but the stones, we have different types of stones which have been used by them in each one of this period. This Paleolithic age, it's said to have been commenced around 1.5 lakhs years. 1.5 lakhs years. It was a rough period. In fact, the human history commences with 2.5 million years ago. So right from the period immemorial, so you can put it in that way, right from the period immemorial up to 10,000 BC. That was a rough period of the Paleolithic age. The time immemorial up to 10,000 BC. This Paleolithic again has been subdivided into the 3 stages by the archaeologist. So during the entire Paleolithic age, the tools or implements that have been made by the people here, they appear to be quite similar with little variations, with little changes. But coming to the next stage, Mesolithic age, their vertical appearance, their size is going to be completely different. By the time of the Neolithic age, further development can be seen in making these implements. So on the basis of the sizes and technology that have been used by the people here for making their implements, so we have to make this kind of divisions here. Paleolithic age has also been divided into 3 substages. Lower Paleolithic is one of the first stages here, Lower Paleolithic. Lower Paleolithic it goes up to 1.2, I mean, 1 second. One lakh 25,000 BC up to 1,25,000 BC. So this particular period has been assigned to lower Paleolithic age. So right from the time immemorial up to 1,25,000 BC, this period actually continues. So what about this period as far as Andhra is concerned? So what are the materials that have been used by the people here under the lower Paleolithic period, and what are the major sites and implements? These are the things which need to be noted down here. Questions can be asked about them only. So here, while making these tools and implements, they have used a typical technology called Acheulean technology. Acheulean technology is the name of the technology used for making the tools. Acheulean technology. And coming to the material that was used for making the implements, the material used by the people. Quartzite, one of the major stone that has been used by the people here, quartzite. So the implements made up of quartzite were found in some of the areas in the modern day Andhra. So in the river belts so the material made up of quartzite were found in Krishna, Penna and Tungabhadra. So in the valleys of Krishna, Tungabhadra and Penna, the implements or the tools made up of quartzite have been recovered. And apart from quartzite is the dominant material used here. Apart from quartzite, they have used two other stones also. Chet, one of the stones used by them, chet, C-H-E-R-T, and chalcedony. Chets and chalcedony. The two materials apart from quartz were used by the people. So that's about the material. Then coming to the implements, what type of implements have been made by them, produced by them? So the implements here, they were predominantly hand axes. Hand axes were the predominant material, the tool that has been made by them, hand axes. Then clearers. Hand axes. Clearers. Another important the tool made by them. Flakes. Chopping tools. And picks. P-I-C-K-S. Picks. Palugu. We call them as palugu. Palugulu. Clearers means the gandragoddallu. Clearers ante. Hand axes cheti goddalli. Flakes means pechulu. So these were the popular tools we have found as far as the Paleolithic stone is, the Paleolithic people are concerned. Then what are the sites from where these tools have been recovered by the scholars? We have some important the sites here. As far as Kurnool districts is concerned, the majority of the tools have been recovered from Kurnool districts from various places. So I'm talking about the erstwhile Kurnool districts. So take down some of the sites in Kurnool districts from where the tools of Paleolithic man have been recovered by the scholars in the excavations. There was a popular place by name Billa Sargam. It's a great center for the ancient man, the early man, Billa Sargam. Another place again in the same district, Muchatla, Chintamanu, Muchatla, Chintamanu, Gavi. Muchatla, Chintamanu, Gavi. It's very near to Nandyala and Betamchalla region. Muchatla, Chintamanu, Gavi. Then Akavedu, another place. Akavedu. One more site again in the same district, Nandyal. Akkarampalli. Akkarampalli. Alagadda. Aluru. Veerapuram. One more site, Veerapuram. Alagadda, Aluru, Veerapuram, etc. These were some of the important sites as well as far as Kurnool district is concerned. Then, apart from Kurnool districts, we have some other places. For example, Nellore districts. Here, some sites have been found where their implements of the Paleolithic period have been recovered. In Nellore district. Agraharam, Venkatagiri, Adavi Raju Palem. Agraharam, Venkatagiri, Adavi Raju Palem. Ambapuram, etc. Then Prakasham districts. Some sites can be seen in Prakasham also. Giddaluru. These are the areas where the early humans, they used to wander from one place to another place because hunting, food gathering was the basis for their economy. They were the hunters. Why the Paleolithic man carried his livelihood on the basis of hunting? Why did not he carry agriculture? Why did not he carry domestication of animals or pastoral activity during his period? So it's a lengthy period of almost millions of years. Right from the beginning of origin of the human being up to 10,000 BC, this period goes. And during this entire period, he has lived the life of a wanderer, a nomad. So making the hunting as a major profession. And his entire activity right from dawn to dusk is to be completely filled with the gathering of food. He was a hunter and food gatherer. So why he could not practice the other professions like domestication of animals or agriculture? No? Is there any reason apart from that? Learning what? No, my question is, why this gentleman could not practice agriculture or could not practice even domestication of animals? He remained as a hunter, as a food gatherer throughout the millions of the years up to 10,000 BC. 10,000 BC is the rough period of commencement of the Mesolithic age. Up to Mesolithic age, the man lived completely on hunting. So why he could not domesticate the animals? Why it was in Mesolithic age, domestication of animal was started in India. But whereas Andhra is concerned, so here domestication of animals can be seen in Neolithic era, not in the Mesolithic era. Okay, leaving that, why this fellow has been remained as a hunter and food gatherers until the beginning of the Mesolithic period? What has prevented him? You have to refer the geologist here. Geologists, they have studied the history of earth. While studying the history of earth, geologists have divided the total history of earth into two major parts again. Like archaeologists have divided history into prehistory and historical age. They have their own division. Geologists have their own division. They have divided the history of earth into two major parts. One is the Pleistocene era. Another is Holocene era. You might have heard in civil services also, in your Indian history. Pleistocene era. This Pleistocene era said to have exist on the earth right from 1.8 million years ago. Right from 1.8 million years to 10,000 BC. Strictly speaking, 11,700 BC. That was a period of this Pleistocene era. Pleistocene means it is otherwise called as Ice Age. Ice Age are the age of the glaciers. Entire earth, during this entire period of millions of years, filled with a white ice sheet. White ice sheet covered the entire earth. When you do not have the earth, there will be no chances of getting cultivation, no chances for growing plants. And when you do not have plantation, so there will be difficulty for the existence of the animals also. You cannot find the animals. Animals cannot be lived in such a situation. So it's an ice age in fact. So ice age means you have hardly any land for carrying your cultivation, for growing the plants. So no plants were grown from 1.8 million years up to 10,000 BC. This entire period was considered as a glacier period. It's an ice age. Wherever your eyesight goes, what you find? The white snow. It has covered the entire earth. So in such conditions, there was no chances for growing of animals. There were no chances for growing of plants. If you do not have plants, the animals cannot survive. So this individual, he was forced to carry his livelihood depending on hunting. He used to wander from one place to another place in search of animals. Hardly he used to find the animals. For finding the animals, he used to wander from thousands of kilometers from one area to another area. That's the reason why the early humans in the Paleolithic era can be seen throughout the country. His footprints, his existence, so his vertical settlements spread throughout the subcontinent, Indian subcontinent. He has wandered all the places because animal population was very less. So these conditions did not allow him to switch over to another profession from hunting. He has remained as a hunter. It was by the beginning of the Mesolithic age. The Pleistocene era comes to an end, Holocene era commences. What happens with the beginning of Holocene era? Soon after the Holocene era commenced, this snow started giving way, it started melting down. The melting of snow was commenced with the beginning of Holocene period. Holocene period commences around 10,000 BC and it's being continued even to this days. Now we are living in the Holocene period. So this is the division made by the geologist as far as the history of the earth is concerned. So when this ice started melting, slowly earth started appearing. Now the plantation started growing. When the plantation has grown, animal population also started growing. So that was the reason why this individual has come into contact with various types of animals and started domesticating them. So domestication of animal can be seen in the Holocene era, not in the Pleistocene era. So he was a hunter and food gatherer. It's a hunting, food gathering economy. The Paleolithic economy is hunting and food gathering economy. Economy completely based on these two things only, hunting and food gathering. The male member used to carry the hunter and the female used to gather the food. This is how they used to function. Okay, so let's coming back to these sites, the important sites in the lower Paleolithic period. So apart from Nellore, we have some sites in Prakasham district also, Giddalur, Erragonda Palem. Giddalur, Erragondapalem. And there is one more Agraharam here. One more Agraharam. Then Guntur, another districts where we have the traces of the Paleolithic implements. Nagarjunakonda, Karampudi, Nagarjunakonda, Karampudi, Chejarla, Chittur district, Anjanadri, Amma Cheruvu, Anjanadri, Amma Cheruvu, Akkurti, Anjanadri, Amma Cheruvu, Akkurti. Anantapur, Guntakal, Krishna district, Ustanapalli, Krishna district, Ustanapalli. So that's about the sites, material and implements about the lower Paleolithic age. Now, Middle Paleolithic age. Middle Paleolithic age. This period goes up to 40,000 BC, right from 1.25 lakhs up to 40,000 BC, 1,25,000 BC to 40,000 BC. That was a rough period. We should not bother about the periods. So in some of the texts, the periods can vary. We should not worry about that. No questions will be asked. It's just for our understanding. Okay, what about the important sites as far as this period is concerned? So coming to this period, there were certain changes in terms of the materials, in terms of the the sizes of the implement that have been used by the people in the lower Paleolithic age. From lower Paleolithic to the middle Paleolithic period, there was a little change in the sizes of the material tools that have been made by them, in sizes of the implement that have been manufactured by them. So what about these sites? First we will see material continued to be remain same. So quartzite, chet, chalcedony, this material has been used in this period also. But what is different from early period to this middle period is about the nature of the implements. What kind of implement they have made here? The smaller sized hand axes, scrapers and flakes. Hand axes, scrapers and flakes. Anvils, another important tool, was produced by the people here. Anvils. ఈ పదాలు కొన్ని మీరు తెలుగులో కూడా రాసుకుంటే బెటర్ ఏమో అక్కడక్కడ. దాగల్లు అంటారు, యాన్విల్స్ అంటే దాగల్లు. It's a kind of the material, the tool used by them for hunting purpose, for the purpose of hunting. So implements. Then coming to the sites. So what are the sites from where these implements have been recovered? Implements of the middle Paleolithic age has been recovered. Paleru in Prakasham district. This is one of the major site here as far as middle Paleolithic period is concerned. Paleru. Gundlakamma, the valley of Gundlakamma in Kurnool district. Valley of Gundlakamma in Kurnool district. And Ralla Kalwa, another site, Ralla Kalwa, Chittur district. So the only difference between the early Paleolithic or lower Paleolithic and the middle Paleolithic being sizes of the implements made by them. So in early period, if you look at these implements, they used to be very rough in nature and very they were so much huge in what you call the size also, very huge to carry. But the size has been reduced to some extent by the middle period. Next period, Upper Paleolithic. It commences around 40,000 BC and goes up to 10,000 BC. So with the end of Upper Paleolithic period, the Pleistocene era also comes to an end. Pleistocene age also comes to an end with the end of Upper Paleolithic period. Pleistocene period ended in 10,000 BC. So this Paleolithic period also ended by that. Robert Brucefoot, he has excavated the implements of this period at a place called Billasargam. So this Billasargam known for many such important things which have been recovered by the excavators in Kurnool districts. Robert Brucefoot has recovered implements related to Upper Paleolithic period from a cave, a naturally built cave at Billasargam. Okay. So we have certain developments in this Upper Paleolithic period. Some specialized tools began to be manufactured by the humans here, and they can be classified into various types. As far as Upper Paleolithic period are concerned, you can specialize some of the tools or implements that have been produced by the humans here. Blade, artifact industry. Just put a small subheading. Blade artifact industry. Blade artifact industry. So this is a specialized the implements which have been produced by the humans in this period, blade artifact industry. What we have got in this particular industry. Various types of implements have been produced by him. They have achieved further advancement in making the implements here, and they started polishing the implements. Unlike the implements of the early Paleolithic period, here the implements have been polished and their size have been drastically reduced, and they were made in such a manner so that they can be carried easily and they can carry their hunting easily on the animals. So in that way, certain changes have been made here to the implements. So what about the details of these implements? Note down. Retouched blades, one of the major implements that were found in this period. Retouched blades. అంటే పదును చేసినటువంటి బ్లేడ్లు, పదును చేసిన బ్లేడ్స్. They used to be very sharp, which can be used for vertical attacking the animals and cutting the animals after they attacked by the humans here. Retouched blades. Flake blades. The blades made up of flakes, పెచ్చులతో చేసినటువంటి blades. Flake blades. Then retouched flake blades. Retouched flake blades. Borers. Another implements, borers. B-O-R-E-R-S. B-O-R-E-R-S. Borers. చిద్రకాలు అంటాం, చిద్రకాలు. Borers అంటే చిద్రకాలు. So after attacking the animals, the animal flesh can be crushed with the help of this particular borers. So for that purpose, a new material, the implement has been started to be made by them. Then scrappers. Scrappers. గోకుడు రాళ్ళు అంటాం, scrappers. So these are the implements that we have found under blade industry, blade artifact industry. So all this material, all these implements, they are related to blade kind of category. So A separate categorization has been made by the archaeologists, blade artifact industry. What was the material used for making these implements by the humans here? Agate, one of the material, one of the stones used by them, agate. Chalcedony, agate, chalcedony, jasper, quartz, jasper, quartz, and chert. Chet, C-H-E-R-T, chet. These are the stones. And coming to the site from where this blade artifact industry has been recovered, it is again the Muchatla Chintamanugavi. Muchatla Chintamanugavi. In Kurnool district. Next, after the blade artifact industry, another kind of industry that was developed by Upper Paleolithic man, Burin artifact industry. Burin artifact industry. Another variety of implements that have been made by him, the human here, is Burin type of industry. What they have produced under this particular industry. Take down the details of the implement that were produced under Burin artifact industry. Scraper blades. Scraper blades. Borers, B-O-R-E-R-S, borers. Split cores, C-O-R-E-S. Backed blades. Then grinding stones. What about the material, the stone used for making these implements? Quartzite and Vidianite. Quartzite and Vidianite. The two types of stones that were used by the humans here, quartzite and Vidianite. Coming to the sites from where the Burin artifacts have been recovered. So most of the Burin artifacts have been found in Chittoor districts, whereas blade artifacts have been found in Kurnool district, and Burin artifacts have been found in Chittoor districts. We have certain important places here. Ralla Kalwa, one of the major sites from where we have found this Ralla Kalwa. Vedulla Cheruvu, Ralla Kalwa, Vedulla Cheruvu. Nalla Gandla. Then one more variety of industry that was developed by the humans in the Upper Paleolithic period. So by the close of Upper Paleolithic period closed by 10,000 BC. By the end of, at the closure of this period, a new variety of implements have been produced by the humans here. Bone artifact industry. Animal bones began to be used for making the tools and implements by the closure of the Upper Paleolithic period. Animal bones. If you happen to get a question about the animal bone implements or tools, it should be placed under the Paleolithic period only. Very specifically speaking, Upper Paleolithic period. So, during which one of the following periods the early man produced bone artifacts or bone tools or bone implements? If such question happen to be appeared in our examination, answer will be Paleolithic period. Specifically speaking, Upper Paleolithic period. So by the closure of Upper Paleolithic period, that means almost by the beginning of the Mesolithic period, bones began to be used as the weapons. So with the help of the bones, various types of sharp weapons began to be produced by the humans here. Okay. Bone implements. Again, Robert Brucefoot was there behind the findings of the bone implements from Kurnool districts. So we have recovered the bone implements from Kurnool district. Robert Brucefoot along his son Hygri Brucefoot. So both these two father and sons, Hygri Brucefoot, his son was Hygri Brucefoot. So Robert Brucefoot along with his son Hygri Brucefoot, they carried the excavations at Billasargam and Muchatla Chintamanugavi, the two sites from where we have recovered the bone tools of the Upper Paleolithic period. Billasargam, Muchatla, Chintamanugavi. So material is bone here. We did not to speak specifically about that. So bone is the material, animal bones have been used here. What kind of implements have been manufactured? What kind of tools have been produced by using bones? Okay. Sharp arrows. Smaller knives. Sharp arrows, smaller knives. Then scrapers, gouges, 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 uli antam manam, ululu, sockets, 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 etc. The only sites from where we have recovered this bone implements are Billasargam and Kurnool district. So it's very important. You can expect a question about the bone implements in fact. So this Billasargam, Muchatla Chintamanugavi and many parts of this Nandyala districts are known for so much of implements of the early humans here. So this is about the Paleolithic period. Then after Paleolithic period, we have to get to the second Stone Age. So the first Stone Age is Paleolithic age or the early Stone Age. So it has been further divided into three parts: Lower Paleolithic, Middle Paleolithic, Upper Paleolithic. Then Mesolithic. It is otherwise called as Microlithic also. Mesolithic or Microlithic. It commences around 10,000 BC and goes up to 4,000 BC. Goes up to 4,000 BC, or somewhere it has even been mentioned as 5,000 BC. We should not get confused between these two. We should not worry about that. It was commenced around 10,000 BC. It's continued up to 4,000 or 5,000 BC. Okay. It's a transition period. This period has been considered as a transition period from Paleolithic to Neolithic. A transition period. Transition period from the food gathering, hunting, food gathering economy to food producing economy. Neolithic period is a food producing economy. So it's a transition period. So what is the reason for calling this period as Mesolithic or Microlithic? Again on the basis of the sizes of the implements. Sizes of the implements is the basis on which this division has been made by the archaeologists. So when compared to the Paleolithic materials, the Paleolithic utensils or implements or tools that we have found, these tools appears to be very small in size. They are micro in nature, smaller sized implements have been manufactured here. That's the reason why we call them as microlithic period. Okay. So who is the individual or the excavator, the archaeologist, to find the first site relating to the Mesolithic period in Andhra? Again, the credit should be given to Robert Brucewood. So he should be considered the father of archaeology as far as South India is concerned. Robert Brucewood discovered the earliest Mesolithic site in Andhra. Earliest Mesolithic site in Andhra discovered by Robert Brucewood. Later, many other archaeologists have also continued that. Like we have Burkitt, one of the archaeologists. We have Camiade, another archaeologist. They too have continued the excavations here on the lines of Robert Brucewood. Okay. The material used for making the implements. Material used for making the implements. Then we will take down the implements later. First take down the material. The most predominant material, the stone used by the humans here, jasper and chert. Jasper and chert. So jasper and chert, C-H-E-R-T. Whereas the predominant material used by the Paleolithic man, quartz, quartzite, that was used predominantly. But coming to here, the material going to be changed. It was not quartzite, but jasper and chert. What about other materials? Crystal, other material used by him, crystal. Predominantly used material, jasper and chert. But some other materials have also been used for manufacturing their implements. Crystal, quartz also was used. Chalcedony and agate. Chalcedony and agate. A-G-A-T-E, agate. Coming to the implements. What kind of implements have been manufactured by the humans here? Blades, baked angles. Baked means sharp angles. Blades, baked angles, crescent shaped, triangle shaped, square shaped implements. Then flake scrapers, పెచ్చులతో చేసిన గోకుడు రాళ్ళు అంటాం. గోకుడు రాళ్ళు పెచ్చులతో చేసిన. ఫ్లేక్స్ అంటే పెచ్చులు. Nodules, another implement made by them, nodules. Okay. So compared to the Paleolithic implements, these implements are very, very small in size, micro in size, and well polished. They were well polished. Unlike the Paleolithic implements, they are polished and smaller in size and very sharp also. They are more sharpened than the implements of Paleolithic period. So what are the major sites from where the Mesolithic implements have been recovered? Major sites from where the Mesolithic implements were found. Vedulla Cheruvu, Chittoor districts. Vedulla Cheruvu in Chittoor districts. Borra caves and Vamshagiri caves. Borra caves and Vamshagiri caves in Vishakhapatnam district. And again, the Billasargam and Muchatla Chintamanu. So, in all the three stages, you can find the importance of Billasargam and Muchatla Chintamanu. In other three stages, Neolithic, Mesolithic and Paleolithic. Then as far as another place of Kurnool districts, apart from these two, we have a new place from where the implements have been recovered of this period. Ketavaram. Ketavaram. Again in Kurnool district itself, Ketavaram. So we have to speak something more important about this Ketavaram. So here in Ketavaram, the Mesolithic paintings have been recovered on the caves. Mesolithic paintings. Whereas the Mesolithic paintings of the humans in India have been found at a cave in Madhya Pradesh by name Bhimbetka. Bhimbetka was a popular site from where the Mesolithic painting have been found. As far as Andhra is concerned, it was found from Ketavaram. So it can be expected in the examination. Apart from Ketavaram, we have another place in Kadapa district from where also the Mesolithic paintings have been found. So we have only two places. One is Ketavaram in Kurnool districts. Another is Chintakunta in Kadapa. Chintakunta in Kadapa. Mesolithic paintings have been found from these two places. So that's all about this Mesolithic period. So with the beginning of Neolithic age, so many changes can be observed in the lifestyle of the human being. Neolithic period marks the beginning of many changes in the life of the humans, the early man here. This period commences around 4000 BC and it goes up to the Iron Age. Goes up to the Iron Age. That means 1000 BC. Goes up to 1000 BC. So the very lifestyle of the humans is going to be changed in this period. So already the Pleistocene age was ended by 10,000 BC itself. Slowly the snow started melting and rivers have been formed, oceans have been formed, rivers have been formed. So what happened with that? With the formation of the rivers, so there was a chance for carrying the cultivation. So cultivation was commenced, agriculture was commenced. With agriculture, the settled life also going to be commenced here. So many changes can be observed here. Let's see all of them one by one. First of all, domestication of animals. Domestication of animals. So this domestication of animals can be seen in Indian history in the Mesolithic period itself. But here in Neolithic period it was started. Domestication of animals. Agriculture. Agriculture. Beginning of agriculture. So the early human here no longer was a wanderer, the food gatherer. He started domesticating the animals which he has. So the mostly domesticated animal by the humans here was cow. Cow was the mostly domesticated animal. So agriculture was commenced. Then apart from that, settled life was commenced. Settled life. Garden child. Keeping in mind all these three major developments in the life of the humans here in the Neolithic period, Garden Child, Sir Garden Child, he was a very famous archaeologist. So this gentleman, Sir Garden Child, he has commented the development of these three things in the life of the humans of Neolithic period as Neolithic Revolution. Neolithic Revolution. Which one of the following was one of the major development as part of Neolithic Revolution? Neolithic Revolution means three components, three developments. Settled life, agriculture, domestication of animals. This term has been used by Sir Garden Child, an Australian archaeologist. So he has dealt with the Neolithic period. You might have seen Sir Garden Child in Indus Valley Civilization also. So he was one of the men who speak about the various reasons caused the decline of Indus Valley Civilization. So various theories, the hypotheses have been propounded by the scholars. He is one of them. According to Garden Child, ecological imbalances was the reason for the decline of Indus Valley Civilization. So he has studied the Neolithic era also, and these developments have been considered as a revolutionary developments in the life of the humans. Okay. What about the implements here? The reason for naming this period as Neolithic, the very style of making the implements going to be changed completely. There was no comparison in the implements of the early humans in the Paleolithic period or in the Mesolithic period with the Neolithic period. There was a complete change. They were beautifully polished. Implements were beautifully polished. They were manufactured sophisticatedly. They used much more technology so that these implements can appear beautiful in nature. So a nice polishing, mirror kind of polishing was applied to these stones by them. So the stones appear to be a reflection of your what you call the image. So mirror like what you call the polishing was applied to these implements by him. So some other what you call the material that can be seen here. Stone axes, important the tools that we have found here. Stone axes, stone blades, even pottery also began to be manufactured. Pottery, they made pottery. Again, that can be a question for you. Pottery was made by which one of the following humans or in which one of the following periods? So you will be given the 4 stages: Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic and Iron Age. Pottery was made by the Neolithic man, not the Paleolithic or Mesolithic man. Whereas in Indian history, pottery was made by the Mesolithic man. Here, the Neolithic man has made the pottery in Andhra. So with the help of making the pottery, pottery has revolutionized the very life of the humans here. So earlier, for want of drinking water, he used to go to the rivers or the ponds where the animals also used to come for the purpose of drinking water. There used to be an encounter between the humans and the animals. So he used to become the food for the animals while trying to drink the water from the ponds and rivers. So with the discovery of invention of this making of pottery, he started storing the water with him. So it has enabled him to have a settled life. He started agriculture, storing water with himself. So pottery has been manufactured by him. Initially the pottery was made by hand. The handmade pottery was the beginning of the pottery. But by the end of the Neolithic era, he started making use of wheels for making the pottery. Wheel made pottery was also found in the Neolithic era. So at the beginning, handmade pottery. By the closure of the Neolithic period, the wheel made pottery also has been made. Okay. By the closure of Neolithic period, bronze and copper was also has been used. Bronze and copper by the closure of this period. So by the end of Neolithic period, bronze and copper was also used. Okay. The first Neolithic site in South India was excavated by first Neolithic site in South India was excavated by John Taylor in 1842, John Taylor. I'm talking about South India. First Neolithic site in South India was excavated by John Taylor in 1842 at a place called Linga Sugur. Linga Sugur in Karnataka. That was the earliest Neolithic site in South India, 1842. Okay. As far as Andhra is concerned, first Neolithic site in Andhra, Vaddamanu. It was the first Neolithic site in South India, Vaddamanu, in Guntur district, excavated by Robert Brucefoot. It was excavated by Robert Brucefoot. It was the first site, Robert Brucefoot. Okay. So, what about the important sites where we have found the settlements of this early human? I mean, in the Neolithic period. And before understanding that, we have to look at the material used by the humans here. The material. What kind of stone has been used by him? Jade is the stone used by him. Jade and schist. It's very stronger than the quartzite also. Jade and schist. Even granite also has been used. Granite. Jade and schist. Granite. At the end, copper and bronze. Right. Coming to the sites, the major sites of this period. Nagarjuna Konda. So what we have found at Nagarjuna Konda? The settlements of Neolithic man was found. Where he used to live? He used to live in the granite caves. So granite caves, one of the residences of these humans in the Neolithic period. The caves made up of granite and what you call the pits in the earth. Pit dwellings, you can consider them as pit dwellings. So they used to make a big pit in the earth, which has been used for the residence, pit dwellings. So we have this kind of pit dwellings in the Indian history in Kashmir area. So there is a place by name Burjahom. Burjahom is a place in Kashmir area from where the pit dwellings of the Neolithic man has been recovered. So here in Andhra, at Nagarjuna Konda, the pit dwellings of the humans have been recovered. Pit dwellings. Next, Tekkal Kota, another place, Tekkal Kota. And Peyampalli. Tekkal Kota and Peyampalli. You can write in the bracket. In these two places, Tekkal Kota and Peyampalli, various crops produced by the Neolithic man were found. Various crops cultivated by the humans of the Neolithic period were found. Some other places, Utnur, Utnur Utnur in Mahabubnagar district, Utnur. Palwai in Anantapur district, Palwai. Ash mounds of the Neolithic period were found. Ash mounds. Budida Rashulu, Budida Kuppalu. Since they used to live a settled life at a particular place by domestication of animals, the cow dung which was deposited by them into the heaps, in the huge heaps, they used to be burnt. The cow dung which has been burnt by them, they formed into the ash mounds. These ash mounds have been recovered from Palwai and Utnuri in Mahabubnagar. And some other areas from where we have found these ash mounds were Kupgal and Kodekal. They are in Telangana. Kubgal and Kodegal, the other areas from where we have found the ash mounds. The age of these ash mounds have been discovered by the archaeologists by using thermoluminescence method. By using this method, the age of the ash mound that we have found here was discovered. According to this method, the age of these ash mounds was about 2000 BC. They belongs to 2000 BC. The huge ash mounds. So they used to deposit the cow dung of the domesticated animals into great heaps. They have formed into a big mounds. The mounds used to be kindled to fire. So it has formed into the big ash mounds. The age was discovered with the help of this scientific method, thermoluminescence method. According to this method, they belong to the period of 2000 BC. Then we have some more places where we have found some animal images also which have been produced by the humans here. So from a place called Maski in Karnataka, from Maski and Pickly Hall, from these two places, Maski and Pickly Hall, animal images of the Neolithic people were recovered. Animal images of the Neolithic people were recovered. So out of the total animals that have been domesticated by them, cow occupies the lion's share. Out of the total animals, 54% of the animals that have been domesticated by them happen to be cows. So cow has become a major source of livelihood for them in this Neolithic period. That's about the 3 stone ages. Then after the stone ages, the last area to be discussed here, the Iron Age. Iron Age. Iron Age was also been called as Megalithic Age in the history of South India. Megalithic. As far as Indian history concerned, Iron Age means the later Vedic period. So by later Vedic period, the humans started making use of iron in North India. Coming to South India, this Iron Age coincided with the megalithic people. Megalithic people are considered the first, the builders of cultures in South India. Even in the case of Andhra also, they were the earliest cultural builders in the history of Andhra. And they made use of iron. So why they have been called as megalithic people? Megalith, big stones. The literary meaning of the term megalith is big stones. So what for these big stones have been used by them? They used the big sized stones for building up their graves. Their cemeteries have been constructed with the help of huge sized stones. That is the reason why they have been called as megaliths. So they used iron. They were the first users of iron in the history of South India as well as in the history of Andhra. And their burial practices are very typical, very different. So we can discuss about their burial practices. So as far as these megalithic people are concerned, they are known for their burial practices. Their importance lies with their burial practices. They have followed some 12 different types of burial practices. Out of them, some 4 or 5 types are noteworthy to be noted down. and which questions can be expected. So they used to bury the dead along with their grave goods. So if you happen to dig out their graves, you can find the skeleton of the dead man along with some grave goods also, which indicates their belief in the rebirth. So they have a lot of belief in the rebirth. So with that belief, they used to deposit the grave goods which have been associated with the humans who have died there. So this practice was initiated by them. So we have different types of burial practices followed by them, and they have various names also. Let's see them one by one. Manhar, one of the various types of burial practices of these people, Manhar. This kind of cemeteries, graves were found in Nagarjunakonda. They were found in Nagarjunakonda, Manhar. It's a typical burial practices where they used to bury the dead in the middle, and this is the grave, the proper grave. Here you can find the skeleton. Then here some kind of what you call the goods, grave goods is to be deposited. So here the coffin is to be divided into two parts. One part marked for placing the dead body, another part for depositing the grave goods. And after burying the dead body in the grave, what they used to do? They used to cover the grave with big sized boulders, big sized stones. Somewhere you can find two lined stones, one after other, two lined stones, and in some cases one lined stones. So big sized stones used to be surrounded to the grave. The stones are very big in size. So because of the use of this kind of stones surrounding the grave, these people are called as the megalithic people. So Menhir is one of the various types of the graves. Then cyst, another kind of graves used by them, another kind of burial practice, where in this cyst kind of graves, they used to make a granite shaped coffin. The dead body used to be placed in a granite shaped coffin. Granite shaped coffin was used where the dead body along with the grave goods used to be buried. Dead body along with the grave goods used to be buried. So where we have found this cyst type of graves? They were found throughout Andhra except Vishakhapatnam. Except Vishakhapatnam, throughout Andhra we have found them. Then another type, dolmen. They are similar to cyst. So what is a cyst? Cyst is a granite coffin which has been divided into two parts. One part marked for the dead body, another part for the grave goods. So in the case of cyst, what they do? They bury the cyst, they bury the coffin under the earth. Whereas in the dolmens, they don't bury the coffin under the earth. They place that over the earth only. They place the dead body in the coffin over the surface of the earth. Instead of burying that under the earth, they used to place that on the surface. So that was a major difference between cyst and dolmens. Cyst and dolmens, both of them, they look alike. The difference being burying them and leaving them on the earth surface. Then sarcophagi. Another type of graves that have been used by them, sarcophagi. A grave made up of terracotta. A grave made up of terracotta in the shape of an animal. In the shape of an animal was sarcophagi. Sarcophagi means an animal shape used to be given to the grave. After burying the dead body in the earth, they used to design the grave in the shape of an animal. Shape of an elephant, shape of a tiger. This is how they used to give the shape of an animal with the help of terracotta. A red mud has been used here to give the shape of an animal. For example, at Eleshwaram in Nalgonda, elephant-shaped sarcophagi was found. Elephant-shaped sarcophagi. So these megalithic graves, they were known with various names in Andhra, in Rayalaseema. If you look at Andhra, these graves have been called as Pandava Gullu. They were titled as Pandava Gullu. The term used for them, Pandava Gullu. Whereas in some parts of Rayalaseema, they were referred as Veera Gullu. The adjacent areas of Tamil Nadu particularly. Adjacent areas of Tamil Nadu, including Tamil Nadu, these megalithic graves were called as Veera Gullu. Pandava Gullu, Veera Gullu. And the most popular term throughout Andhra was Rakshasa Gullu. Rakshasa Gullu. Rakshasa means, doesn't mean they were the graves of the demons. Since they appear big in size, the term has been used. Rakshasa ante ikkada Rakshasudani కాదు, భారీ స్థాయిలో ఉన్న వాటిని మనం అలా పిలుస్తాం. వీడు రాక్షసులాగా ఉన్నాడు అంటాం మనం. అంటే అర్థం ఏంటి? రాక్షసులాగా లుకింగ్ కాదు, ఆ సైజ్ అనమాట. ఎవరైనా 7 అడుగులు ఉన్నాడు అనుకోండి, రాక్షసులాగా ఉన్నాడు అంటాం మనం. సో ఇన్ దట్ వే దే వర్ కాల్డ్. రైట్. What are the important settlements of these people? The megalithic people. Megalithic people can be seen throughout Andhra. There is no specific location of these people. Their graves have been found throughout Andhra. Right from Nagpur in Maharashtra until Kanyakumari, we have numerous settlements of these people. Nagpur to Kanyakumari. Hundreds of settlements have been found. So except Srikakulam, Vijayanagaram and East Godavari, rest of Andhra we have found their settlements. Except these 3 districts, Srikakulam, Vijayanagaram and East Godavari. So here we could not found the settlements of the megalithic people. Srikakulam, Vijayanagaram and East Godavari. In rest of the areas we have found numerous settlements. So that's about the megalithic people or the iron aged people. And they were considered as the first builders of first cultures in the history of Andhra. Andhra history, Andhra culture said to have been commenced by these people, the megalithic people. So with that we can conclude our discussion about the prehistoric age or prehistoric cultures. So from this discussion we should get at least some 1 to 2 marks. You can expect some 1 to 2 marks. So focus on the settlements, materials and implements, excavators, the 4 segments where the questions can be expected. And from tomorrow onwards we discuss the Shatavahana dynasty. The political history will be commenced from tomorrow onwards. Okay, we meet tomorrow.